They sold us the dream. From garage to Mars, from paper route to the world's richest man, from a high school coding club to Windows on every computer on Earth. We ate it up, we tattooed hustle harder on our arms. We blamed ourselves when the millions never came. But the truth is quieter, older, and far more uncomfortable. Almost none of them started at zero. This is the full story. The rags to riches story is older than America itself. Andrew Carnegie, 1889. I began as a poor Scottish immigrant. He forgot to mention the wealthy uncle who paid his passage and the cousin who gave him his first job as a private telegrapher for the railroad boss. John D. Rockefeller. I earned every penny. He left out the fact that his first big loan came from his father, who was already a successful merchant lending money at 30% interest. The playbook never changed. Only the century did. Elon Musk. Apartheid emeralds and private planes. Pretoria, South Africa, 1970s and 80s. Apartheid is law. White families with the right connections get very rich, very fast. Elon Musk, Elon's father, was an engineer, property developer, and emerald dealer. He co-owned a mine near Lake Tanganyika in Zambia. Emeralds were sold on the black market and in Europe. Cash only. No questions. Errol in his own words, 2018 interview. We had so much money at one point we couldn't even close our safe. There were handfuls of stones in there. The family had a house in Pretoria with servants, a yacht on the Vaal Dam, horses, and at least 2 small planes. Elon went to Bryanston High and then Pretoria Boys High, 2 of the most expensive schools in the country. He flew to Canada on a private plane at 17. He says he arrived with $2,500 and worked odd jobs. He leaves out that his mother's cousin owned a large farm in Canada where he lived rent-free, that tuition at Queen's University was already covered, and that his brother Kimball later admitted the family still sent money when they needed it. He built rockets. He took insane risks. He deserves enormous credit. But the story that he started with nothing is fiction. Warren Buffett, the congressman's son. Omaha, Nebraska, 1930s-1950s. Howard Buffett, Warren's father, was a stockbroker and 4-term Republican congressman. The Buffett family was country club rich. Warren's mother, Layla Stahl, came from newspaper money and was a political force in her own right. Warren bought his first stock at age 11, using money he had already saved from allowances and gifts. That $120 in 1942 is about $120,000 in today's money. He worked summers in his father's brokerage firm, where clients included senators and governors. He loves telling crowds he made money delivering the Washington Post. He rarely mentions that his father owned the firm that cleared the trades for half the Midwest. By age 30 he already managed millions belonging to family and friends. Still the greatest investor ever. Absolutely. Born poor, not for a single day of his life. Bill Gates, the mother who called IBM. Seattle, 1980. Microsoft is 32 employees and $2 million in revenue. IBM is looking for an operating system for its new personal computer. Bill's mother, Mary Gates, is a regent of the University of Washington and sits on the National Board of United Way. Sitting next to her on that board is John Opel, CEO of IBM. Mary mentions her son has a small software company. John Opel picks up the phone. Within weeks IBM executives are flying to Seattle. Bill doesn't have an operating system. He buys one from a tiny company in Seattle called Seattle Computer Products for $75,000, renames it MS-DOS, and licenses it to IBM. The deal makes Microsoft the standard for the entire PC industry. Bill still says we were just 2 guys in a garage. There was a garage. There was also a mother on the board of directors of the biggest company in the world who made one phone call. Jeff Bezos, 1994. His parents hand him $245,573, about $500,000 in 2026 money. He calls it a gift from my parents to get Amazon started. He later calls himself self-made. Mark Zuckerberg attends Phillips Exeter Academy, $50,000 a year tuition. His father, a dentist, pays for private fencing lessons and hires David Sklansky, a professional programmer, to tutor teenage Mark. The servers for thefacebook.com run in his Harvard dorm, paid for by Eduardo Saverin's family money and Mark's own savings from years of allowance. We are told to hustle 20 hours a day while the people preaching started with land, contracts, and political connections we will never have. Why the lie works. The myth is profitable. If billionaires are gods who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, then the system is fair. If you're still broke, it's your fault. Keep buying the courses. Keep buying the crypto. Keep grinding. Never ask who owns the grinder. The truth. Talent is real. Risk is real. Genius is real. But almost nobody on the Forbes list started at zero. They started at private schools, with paid tuition, safety nets, parents who knew presidents, uncles who owned mines, mothers who sat on boards with CEOs. The race is real. The starting blocks are not final words. Your value is not measured by how close you get to their finish line when they started 90 meters ahead. Your value is measured by how far you run with the blocks you were actually given. Some of us started behind the starting line. Some of us started in mud. Some of us are still running. And that is enough. Most importantly, Jesus is real and the only way, truth and life. Accept him today. If you enjoy the video, do well to like, share and subscribe.